on my source of strength. And focus on your confidence and boldness. And live the life that you desire for you to live. And share what's on your heart. And share, be open to what the Holy Spirit says to you. God, I'm thankful for all the opportunities, all the love you've showed me and shared with me. May I be able to share your love with others. In Jesus' name, amen. Good morning. It's a beautiful day. It's always good to start the day with something that you're thankful for, with being grateful. But just having gratitude just for the way things are. It's just being genuinely grateful for God for bringing such a beautiful morning. Or even on the rainy days, thanks to God for bringing the rain that earth needs so much. It's just like perfect temperature right now. Singing birds. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. You know, this moment in time, it's a wonderful time. Yeah. We have so many advantages right now. We have the ease of the internet, the simplicity of just recording ourselves and sharing it with people. You have the opportunities to do anything you want to for your livelihood. I mean, you have millions of opportunities online. You just type something in, connect a buyer with the seller, and you're done. You made money. It's it's amazing how it can work. Beautiful breeze coming through the house today. It's nice and cool and gentle. But our opportunities online, like the majority of things, I don't think it's ever been cheaper to get into something. Like if you were to start an online business, you could probably do an online affiliate thing for free if you could connect your Facebook to products. I was watching one guy on YouTube. He says he does the affiliate link thing and he makes 30% of the sale. That's a big commission for just directing people to a website. Like, doesn't have to do anything else. He doesn't have to maintain that customer. He doesn't have to deal with taking orders or shipping or inventory or dealing with customer complaints, customer problems. He gets people to click a button and it sends them to a place. If they order, he makes 30%. But just think on that sale, it was like 20 bucks. What an amazing time. Yeah, I don't think there's never been a time like this. So making sure our mindsets are clear and directed so that we can see these opportunities. And if you can't see them, if you can't accept that they're real, legitimate, then you'll never benefit from them. And it seems that so many people have the mindset that pretty much nothing is possible. Oh yeah, well they have that affiliate thing, but nobody's gonna sign up for that. It's like the people, they're just real negative and refuse to see opportunity in things. And that mindset is a serious problem. That mindset. The mindset that is revealed when it shares its opinions on an opportunity like that, it will keep a person from living because they're really revealing not how they think about that particular instance, but how their mind shapes the world around them, how they see every opportunity, how they see everything. Because their mindset fear and doubt and worry and problem focused instead of opportunity focused, instead instead of God focused. God makes everything possible. God brings us so many beautiful things. God brings us our purpose. Everybody's searching for a purpose these days. Everybody's searching for a meaning for their life. And it's God who brings that to us. It's God who brings opportunities to us. And I think it's a godly mindset, a mindset on God that God is capable of doing anything that lets us take advantage of those opportunities that come to us. That would even give us the desire to take those opportunities. It's a sickened mindset that says nothing is possible. It's a sickened or damaged mindset that sees the world as bad or hopeless. That hopelessness is taken over. It's spreading like just a horrible virus. It's one of those things that it's really contagious. And I think the devil is using so many just painful things like divorce and being fired from jobs or financial problems or kind of you name it, like depression, like Facebook depression, looking at everybody else's highlight reel and starting to think that your life doesn't measure up, and you just get depressed because your life isn't really that good compared to somebody else's. But that hopelessness is contagious. If you're around enough people who see things as hopeless, maybe they'll bring you down. They'll eventually, maybe not instantly, but eventually, if you have a hopeful mind, their hopelessness, their persistence in hopelessness, it could bring you down. It could change your hope to hopeless. I've seen that. I've experienced that. Unfortunately, my wife, she was not a very optimistic person. She is not a very optimistic person. And like, she sees the problem in everything. She loves Starbucks coffee, and when she'll go get Starbucks coffee, if they don't fill it up all the way, or if they put too many pumps of sweetener, or too few pumps of sweetener, or too much foam, or whatever the case is, she'll get so upset about it. And she won't face the problem like, hey guys, can you fix this? Somebody just messed up. But she like takes it personal, like almost thinking they did it intentionally, and she'll start boycotting. She'll boycott everybody, every restaurant who makes a mistake. That she experiences. There was a time where she was boycotting every restaurant that was around just because they all made mistakes, and she's looking for mistakes, really minor things are like big deals to her. If somebody cuts her off on the street, she gets so furious. These people, how dare they? It's like, man, life is so much more than that half a second incident. Don't let that consume you. But some people's minds are just so warped and twisted and broken and hopeless that they focus on the negative. They focus on the problem. They'll think about it all day, and they'll just kind of stew on it all day instead of just letting it go. Instead of allowing people to make mistakes, they're like super critical. And they take a personal offense to stuff like that. I think ultimately the root of that is like the root of that is godlessness. That God in Jesus forgives us of everything. God is all knowing, right? And is not constricted by time. So he knows the past, and he knows the future, he knows the present, and he's not surprised when silly people make a mistake. You know, but it's these people that I don't know, see it as they're kind of godless, but they're highly religious, and it's called legalism, where they're so consumed with the structure and system of religion that they leave out the God who is so graceful and is love. Like, God is the creator and definition of love. And so these, religious people, they're so consumed with everything being perfect, with people behaving perfect, and condemning and criticizing and ostracizing anybody who doesn't line up with their definition of what religion is supposed to be. Like, those people, they're just miserable. They leave God out. They forget that, okay, God loves this whole world, everybody in this world, so much that he allowed a part of himself. He allowed Jesus and sent Jesus to die so that mere little people could have a connection with him, with God. You know, what a beautiful thing that is. But these legalistic people, they can't see beauty. They can't be appreciative. They can't they can't be happy, because all life turns into an analysis of everybody in every situation, how it lines up to perfection. Since nothing lines up to perfection, nothing is perfect. People, we do our best, but we're never going to be perfect at anything. But when people that's kind of the divide. Like, people are never going to be perfect of anything. God knows we're not going to be perfect, and he forgives our mistakes. Like, endless supply of forgiveness. I mean, Jesus represented that when he came in and came to this world, and he hung out with the sinful people. It's like, you know, these are my people. He called the sinful, these sinful, just messed up people. He called them messed up people to follow him, to be his like inner circle. And it was those like self-righteous, religious elite, legalist, like you must follow every part of these rules that we made up or you're not accepted. Like, those people, Jesus called out, like, guys, you're missing it. You don't understand what religion is supposed to be. You don't understand what religion is. You've twisted it and you've made your own. But don't say that you represent God. The same thing happens today. Those religious people, they don't represent God. They represent the system they have created. But it's not God. So, God knows we're going to mess up. And kind of that divide of religion and godliness. Maybe it all focuses on Jesus, but from different perspectives. Because Jesus, he came to this earth and he told us over and over again that his purpose, his mission was love. That his command is to love. That the most important principles of the Bible are love God and love people. To love people as you love yourself. Said all the Old Testament, it revolves around this. It's based on loving each other and showing love. That's what Jesus said and he demonstrated. And so I think following Jesus, you show love. You examine yourself and see, like, are you showing love? Are you showing judgment and criticism? Are you being selfish and just showing love to yourself? Or are you showing love to other people around you? Like, we need to realize what we're doing to make sure we stay on track with what Jesus taught us. Because what Jesus teaches, loving other people around you, that's what is going to change our world. That's what everybody's looking for. Unconditional acceptance, love, no matter what. Loving people through mistakes. Not expecting them to be perfect, but just loving and accepting people as they are. That's what the world wants right there, and that's what Jesus taught. But then these legalistic, super religious people, these church people, I kind of call, there are followers and believers in Jesus Christ who are concerned about loving other people. And then there are church people. They go to church all the time. They have their spot. Every time the doors open, they're there. They are into their church, but they don't represent Jesus. They represent their rules. And those people are some of the cruelest, meanest people that I know. They're the loveless, most critical. Oftentimes they're hateful, but a lot of times they're just cold and just loveless. But anyway, consider it a difference between church people and followers of Jesus, like fans of Jesus. Like it's like people that want you to know that they go to church, or people that want you to know that you are loved. It's a big difference. But oftentimes both those people call themselves Christians. And it causes some problems. But so one side of the Christian spectrum is following Jesus' teachings and his examples of love. Maybe the other side, they're trying to follow Jesus too. They don't really follow the love aspect, which Jesus said over and over and over was the most important precept, his most important lesson that he was here to teach. But they try to follow his perfection. So Jesus was perfect. sinless is, is in um, Judaism. They had to sacrifice a perfect lamb for their sins in order to be forgiven, in order to be clean. And so Jesus was that lamb. He was perfect. He was sinless. And on one level, you have to be God in order to never sin, because it's just part of human nature, to mess up. But we have a segment, I think a large segment in the Christian belief system that they are expecting people to be perfect. They're expecting people to be holy, these church people are expecting people to be something that they can never be on their own, through their own efforts. They're expecting people to be something they can never be. Maybe you have the best intentions, and you might be sinless for a while. The devil's persistent, and the devil has really strong strategies that he'll come after you, and you're going to mess up. You're going to. And if you have the mindset that you're expected to be perfect, well, you'll just keep condemning yourself, and it'll take you so long to get over that, and you'll lose so much of your life. You'll lose so much of yourself. You'll lose your joy. You'll lose the thing that makes you happy because you're covered up with, well, I just disappointed Jesus, who died for me. I let down my church people. I can't show my face to my friends, who all my friends are at the church, because I really messed up. You walk around miserable for a while until eventually you decide to forgive yourself. Even though Jesus already knew you were going to mess up. He knows, God knows everything in all times, and so he anticipates your mess up. And God is not rubbing your nose in it. He's not holding it over your head and like, oh, you have to be miserable for 37 days and then you can be happy again. No, God's not like that. You're forgiven instantly. Instantly, you're forgiven. And we have to forgive ourselves too. But that's hard for us to do. Sometimes we want to punish ourselves for a little bit, or we have to feel like we've earned the right to be accepted and forgiven again, or we have to be punished for a certain amount of time in order to deserve forgiveness. That's not God's method. That's man's method. That's what the the Jewish people, they created so many laws. And Jesus said, look, your laws aren't important. Don't you don't have to keep these laws. They're they're not what makes a person whole. And Jesus is like, love makes a person whole. It gives people hope and peace and joy. When you're loving, you can be gentle and forgiving with one another. You can be kind. When you're loving, you can accept somebody's mistakes and forgive them and love them anyway. Something big I'm trying to deal with in my divorce is that forgiving my wife for just all the horrible, wicked things she did, all the lies and all like the name slanderous, financial, disastrous, taking my kids from me, just destroying me, just like lying to the court system and to the people that were around us. It's super hurtful, but I know I have to forgive her. And I keep trying to do it. I keep facing it like, God, I forgive her. I forgive her for everything she's done. Let her go from this debt. Let her go from this personality that she's chosen, that is just so critical and deceitful, and she's trying to position herself in a way that just intentionally causing damage to me. And I know I need to forgive this, and I keep kind of confessing or professing forgiveness. And then there's something else that comes up that's just awful. Like, my kids are my world. I want to be with my kids so bad. And like, there's some times the court order says I'm supposed to have the kids, like, for like spring break. Like spring break, I was supposed to get the kids for like 6 o'clock the day they're released from school. So they were released from school on Thursday. I try to make plans to pick the kids up on Thursday. Rebecca's just not having it. And it's spring break, they're Christian school, so it's like Easter. It's that Friday, that first Friday I would have them would be Good Friday, and then Easter Sunday. She's so like religious and tries to be all devout or whatever. that like Easter is her favorite thing. Like, she's the most hateful, critical person, but she wants everybody to know that Easter is her favorite. You know, she's just religious and not really Jesus-y. But like I'm supposed to have my kids, she's like, nope, I give you the kids on Sunday because it's my weekend. I'm like, well, yeah, you know, it's your weekend, but the holidays override your weekend. It specifically says I get them at the release of school. You know, it's supposed to be my time, but she's just, yeah, I get my kids 4 days a month, and occasionally I'll get them, you know, we'll alternate some holidays and stuff, but it's not enough. And she won't even give me the time that the judge, that the court allowed me to have. My youngest son, I'm supposed to get him on regular visitation, but she won't allow it because there was this stipulation I had to go through certain trainings because he has, like, at the time he couldn't eat, so he has this like peg installed in his stomach where you just kind of get a syringe and you put food in his stomach directly. And so Rebecca had blocked all the training and stuff up until the court and had really limited how much time I could see him. You know, there was a time I hadn't seen him in like 9 months. And she just wouldn't allow it for whatever reason. Still don't understand her and how she just won't let me see my youngest son. But so the judge said, yeah, you know, you're allowed to see your son. Just do these trainings so you know how to take care of him, because he's not, caring for him is not like caring for every other kid. So you do these trainings and then you can start getting your son. And well, I did those trainings within the first, you know, had them all done like in 10 days or something. I got like CPR and whatever certified, and it's kind of just, you know, took care of that. And it's supposed to get my kids, but Rebecca like adds things to the court order. Like, oh, well, you have to get a stethoscope and you have to get this and you have to do this extra training and you have to, like, honey, no, the court order doesn't say that. That's, you know, none of the doctors said that I needed that. You're just kind of adding stuff to the court order to, I don't know, so you have authority or something. But anyway, she's adding stuff to the order, changing it as she sees fit, and I guess I'm gonna have to take her to court. I wish we could just handle things directly, you know? Like, why does it have to be a problem? Yeah, but so I keep trying to forgive her for doing all this stuff, but then there's always, we're so far, there's always something that comes up that she just like hits my buttons, you know? It just makes me mad just from like not giving me the minimum of what I'm supposed to have from the court order, not letting me see my kids And so it's like a serious test, like of forgiveness, of being like Jesus, of knowing people are going to make mistakes. And sometimes those mistakes are intentional. And sometimes those mistakes, they're just wicked as can be, but God still forgives us. And so we're supposed to forgive those people who hurt us. For those really religious people, they're too critical. They can't forgive. They kind of do what my wife is doing. How, like, oh, well, how they just like add things to it. Like, yeah, well, Jesus said that love is the main thing, that if you're loving, you're meeting all the requirements of religion, that all those other principles and stuff, they don't really apply anymore, because God forgives us. We don't have to go through all those rituals of sacrifice and all that stuff, because God forgave us. He sent his son Jesus to be perfect and to forgive us. But like my wife is doing, a lot of these religious people, they keep adding new things. Like, yeah, Jesus said it's just about love and everybody's forgiven. You just have to accept that forgiveness, through Jesus. And I like the court order. Yeah, the judge said you can have time with your youngest son, that you can see him in visitation, but I'm adding a new stipulation to that, and you have to do this and that in order to meet the requirements. And religious people do that same thing. Like, yeah, Jesus said it's just all about love, but there's one religion that they're like said Jesus forgives all sins. Like, in truth, Jesus says he forgives all sins, but there's this one religion who says, well, he doesn't forgive murder. Like, no, it doesn't say that. Like, Moses was one of the most influential characters in the Bible, and he was seen like on the Mount of Transfiguration, like he was seen as with God, and Moses murdered somebody. So these religious people, they might add something to religion, or try to add something to the Bible, or put like undue weight on something. But it's wrong. Ultimately, so they can have power over people, so that they can feel like they are righteous and have some sort of authority over people around them, instead of showing people around them love. We should all keep showing people love. And the great thing is about Jesus' teachings, that showing people that we're supposed to show people love, is that showing people love, that is what fills us. That is what fills our heart. That is what That is the essence of just like living life to the fullest. Giving other people love is the most beautiful thing we can do for ourselves. Really, it's the most beautiful thing we can do for ourselves. Showing other people love. So what are we doing to show people love? Hold a door for somebody, wave at somebody coming by, give somebody a smile, give some complete stranger a flower. You're operating a food bank. Are you helping somebody move? Buying somebody's breakfast that that they don't expect it. Like paying for somebody's food at the drive-thru. You won't see their joy, but man, you know they will have some joy. You know that's going to put a smile on their face. And just knowing you put a smile on somebody else's face, just thinking about how you can put a smile on somebody else's face will put a smile on your face. I mean, just thinking about it now, like, makes me happy thinking how I can make other people happy, how I can share the love of Jesus just in simple, just acts of kindness. It can just be stuff that's just so simple. Just think about what you do every day and how you can incorporate somebody else into your day. How can your normal routine, where do you pass somebody? And how can you help that person smile? Like the other day, I don't. It, the other day, I was running to the tennis court. I like to go to the tennis court. I hit a tennis ball against a wall. It helps your tennis game, but also it helps your mind and your soul. And just kind of find a rhythm and get quiet. And it's almost like a meditation thing. You're focused on one little ball. You watch that ball. And you're moving. Or when you're watching that ball, you're just focused on one thing. It's simple. You're just watching that thing. It's just simple. You're not thinking about anything else, just that ball. Then your body's moving. And exercise, like endorphins or things that are released, and like exercise is so good for your spirit. Breaking a sweat can help you get out of a bad mood. So you focus on that ball. Oh, excuse me. So you're just focused on that ball. Your body's moving. You're not thinking about anything. And it's a great, peaceful, kind of soothing time. So, the tennis court is pretty close to the house, so I'll run over there. And the other day, I saw a flower as I was running, like, man, that's beautiful. I kept on running. And like, no, I need to grab that. I need to give that to somebody. And just something, Holy Spirit just put on my heart. It's like you have to follow your urges. Gotta follow your urges that benefit other people, because the devil gives us urges too that aren't so healthy. But usually it's pretty easy to discern the difference of the two. But anyway, so I saw that flower, it's beautiful. Kept on running, like, no, I need to grab that. And I'm gonna give that to somebody just to help make somebody's day better. Grabbed it. I was running for a while, like most of the way to the court, and I didn't see anybody. I'm thinking, all right, God, who am I giving this to? And then I saw this lady. She's outside watering her tomatoes, and I go up to her and she looks kind of angry, like in a bad mood. Could be that some total stranger's just coming up behind her. She doesn't know what to expect, or she expects somebody's going to try to get something from her or something. I don't know. But she didn't look like she was in a great mood. I was like, I'd like to leave this flower with you. She kind of brightened up. She took the flower, started running on my way to the court. She smelled it, like, oh, this flower smells so good. And her demeanor was changed, and hopefully that helped change her whole day. But it was a lady on my way that I just incorporated into my thing I was doing. And if everybody kind of took that, if everybody would attempt that, to be mindful, to be thoughtful of other people, then you can be mindful and thoughtful of how you can impact their day. Impact. What a neat word. So many people want to make an impact in the world today. A lot of people are having a hard time emotionally because they can't figure out how their life has meaning, and they can't figure out how they can make an impact in somebody else's lives, how they can impact this world for the better. You see all the problems and they want to make an impact, but they don't know how. And I think people make it too complicated. As one individual, oftentimes we can't impact the billions of people on the planet. We can't impact the whole planet, but we can impact those people who are around us, who we pass today. We don't have to be our friends, we don't have to know their names, but as we're going through our day, incorporate those people, right? Just a little bit of kindness. Yeah, a smile and a gift, a kind word, a helpful action. You can make an impact on that person. And who knows? That person may go impact somebody else, and that person may go impact somebody else, and the next person might impact 2 people, and then those next 2 people might impact 2 people, and then all of a sudden, like butterfly effect, you've impacted the whole world. Are you okay with impacting the whole world and not knowing it? Not receiving recognition for it? Isn't that the trick? Isn't that the issue of our day? That people want to be meaningful, people want to have a purpose, and people want to change the world. But so much of the time, they want to be recognized for their impact. Maybe when you're trying to be recognized for your impact, it's harder to make a significant impact. But when you make an impact discreetly, you're just helping people along your path, along your journey. And each of those people you impact could impact 100 people. Those 100 people impact 200 people. Before you know it, you change the world, but nobody knows your name. I guess that's something to consider, right? If you could impact the entire world, but nobody would know your name, would you still want to impact the world? Are you okay with just knowing that you have done good for people, that you have shown people love? Or are you actually seeking recognition? Are you seeking to impact the world because you want to follow Jesus, because you want to do a good deed, because you love people and you want want to see people living out love, and you think maybe your spark could help them live a life that is better than the life you're living, than the life that they are living? Or are you seeking to be famous? Are you seeking to be rich and famous and recognized for doing good? Would you do good if nobody ever knew your name? Would you make an impact in helping another person? Would you be willing to help another person reach their full potential in life, live the life of their dreams, just by giving them one little spark on one random day? It doesn't really mean anything to you. Other than it gives your life a little joy by spreading joy and kindness to others. Or will you only do it if you get some sort of recognition that you think you deserve? In which case you're not looking to impact the world. In which case you're not loving other people. You're just loving yourself. You're being selfish. You just want to impact your own self, and you see other people as a means to make that happen. It's not a very good way to live. That's the way a lot of businesses and a lot of people in this world live. But it's not good, it's not healthy, it's not beneficial. It will never spark your soul into living an amazing life when you're just really trying to manipulate and use people for your good. It's always good to examine yourself. Are your motives as pure as you think they are? Maybe a lot of times they're not. It can be hard to admit. Anyway, thanks for your time this morning. I hope you have a fantastic day. Find a way to share kindness with somebody. God bless.